Hi, World of Tank Blitz, Armored Pants here. I have another video for you, and as promised, this is a review of the Lupus and the Nameless, which are the two other fantasy tanks right now available in the shop. Now, I did yesterday the Edelweiss and the Hafen, and today I'm going to have a look at Lupus and the Nameless. Now, unlike the Edelweiss and the Hafen, they are not both the same type of tank. One is a tank destroyer, one is a heavy, but let's have a look at them together anyway. Now, they're available in the shops. As you can see, according to the goal that you have to spend, they are pretty expensive. So therefore, I think it's quite good to have a look at them and make sure that they are actually something that is worthwhile getting. So the Lupus itself is an unusual looking tank. It looks like sort of a penis on wheels or something like that, or if your testicles were actually wheels, you know, just trundling along with a giant penis stuck on top. And apart from that unusual and somewhat phallic and disturbing imagery, it is a disturbing looking tank, to say the least. Now, I think that it is one of those fantasy tanks. Lupus is the Latin for a wolf, and I guess it is a hunter and that it is a tank destroyer. It does have a fantastic gun. It has great penetration. And it even has good penetration on the HE. It has a turret, so unlike some tank destroyers, it can turn, and it also has great gun depression. It's got 12 degrees of gun depression, and that's something which many tank destroyers don't have, and it's something which can be used to great effect on the Lupus. Now, its armor profile is pretty good. It's very good for side scraping. It is good front on, especially if you're not up tiered. If you are top tier in this thing, you're going to do very, very well indeed, because this tank certainly has a good armor profile. And when we zoom in here now, you will see that you can get some really, really good armor angles on it. You know, you can get a lot of red and a lot of difficult areas to penetrate. If you angle this up properly and if you side scrape it, is really a very effective tank. Even if you're up tiered and you're up against tier 8s, you will do pretty okay. But if you, as I said, if you're top tier, you can afford to play this tank not only as a TD, you can actually go front line and just play it as a heavy. Its armor profile is quite trollish, certainly from the front onwards. And if you're not up tiered, as I said, you can almost troll, but you can even use it as a YOLO tractor, should you so desire. It says here that you know, front line is average and it's not really giving it too much else, but in actuality, for long range sniping, it's pretty good too. And if you get into a good position where you can side scrape and use the frontal armor, I think it's not going to let you down. Now let's have a look at Nameless. The Nameless, now this is also kind of a Germanic tank, so its name actually should be Nameless, which would be in German, or if they were going to use Latin as they did with the Lupus, it would be Innominatum, and I think Innominatum sounds much cooler than Nameless, doesn't it? Absolutely. Here's something to fuck with your head. If the tank is called Nameless, then it's not nameless, but yet it is nameless, because it is the Nameless. But it's not nameless because its name is Nameless, and you just keep going on and on. It's a logic loop, isn't it? Yeah, just think about this, for example, as a logic loop, or sort of as an interesting fact. On average, everybody on the planet has less than 2 arms. Just think about that. Here's something that's really going to fuck with your brain. Just think about this statement: all generalizations are wrong. Just let that sink in. Yep. You could go mad thinking about that, couldn't you? But we digress. Let's get back to the Nameless. Nomenlos, Innominatum. This tank has a pretty good gun as well. It's not as high caliber as the Lupus, obviously, but it has a better rate of fire. It does have pretty good armor, especially up front. You can see here you can get some really, really great angles. It's going to bounce shots for you, and especially if you're top tier. But even if you're not top tier, it can hold its own. The gun is pretty good. It's not as accurate as other German heavies because it has a short barrel. I say German, I mean it is Germanic, but I mean it's a fantasy tank, obviously, but you know what I mean. And I find it pretty good. It's not that fast, but it's not so slow. And it has relatively good traverse, and the gun is pretty good, and it has nice alpha rolls on it too. And you'll see all that when we get into the gameplay on it. And as I said, the armor is pretty good too, especially if you're front on. And if you're up tiered, if you're not up tiered, right, if you're top tier, you can do amazing things, and you can go front line. You can also side scrape in it, and you can actually just use the frontal armor to bully other tanks. So there's a lot of different tactics that are available when playing the Nameless, the Nameless, the Eliminatum. Now, anyway, let's have a look at some gameplay. Let's take out the Lupus, the Wolf, and let's see how she rolls. Now, by the way, I mentioned this in the last video. I do see a lot of the forums and even on my own web page and Facebook page, and people are sort of discussing it. A lot of people have problems with the fact that these are fantasy tanks, and they say, "Oh, I hate this game now because there's too many fantasy tanks in it." Blah 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 blah. As I said, I'm sort of agnostic on this subject. If the tank is in the game, it's in the game, and let's just get on with it. Like the Helsing, the Dracula, and all of those. And I know that these aren't historically accurate tanks; they didn't exist. But the tanks that did actually exist, like Tiger and IS and all that, their characteristics in the game are not how they behaved when they're on a battlefield in real life. And it's all just fantasy, really, isn't it? I mean, you're not really a tank driver. You're not really you're not driving those tanks. So it's just a pixelated cartoon tank that follows the pre-programmed parameters of a company based in Minsk. So, you're not a tank driver. You're not reenacting the Second World War. Put you in a real tank, you probably fucking wouldn't be able to move it 2 feet. So let's get over all this bullshit, and let's not be snobbish about it. I mean, if the tank's in the game, it's in the game. So what? This thing does look like sort of a German helmet on a set of wheels or something, or penis where your testicles are rolling or something like that. So it isn't the most attractive thing, much like the human testicles and balls and the meat and two veg. I mean, they're not attractive at all, are they? I mean, they look like something hanging out of a shark's mouth. But anyway, again, we digress. If you're wondering what's happening here, I don't really know why I wasn't moving so much. I think maybe it was in the toilet or something, or maybe I was just washing my hands. It's always good if you go to the toilet to wash your hands before you actually start playing on your phone, right? I mean, it's just basic hygiene, isn't it? So I'm moving over here to the left. I'd like to give you a good reason why. I don't really know, because the others are going to go to the right, but I kind of felt that my lights and meds certainly needed some help. I probably needed some help from a big gun, and I definitely have a big gun, and it's nice of him to present me with a nice target like this. Try to hit him with HE. Don't really get a good roll on it there. I mean, the Lupus gun, I would say to you, it is a good gun. It's going to do nice DPM for you, but it is going to give you nice alpha rolls. But you have to take your time aiming with it. Aiming is maiming, as we always say in this channel. You do have to take your time aiming with it. If you try to snap shots in it, you're going to miss. And it has quite a long reload. As you can see here, it's 13.2 seconds. So if you miss, you're going to regret it. And it could be the difference between you actually living and dying, right? And that's a perfect example of what I was talking about there. I made an absolute balls out of that. I thought he was in front of that hill, and as it turns out, he was not. So now, like a naughty boy in school, I have 30.2 seconds to think about what I did and the mistakes I've made and how to make my life better. So yeah, I'm just standing in a corner with a big pointy cap with a D on it. Now, see if I can rectify that mistake. Can I? No, I can't. My God. You've doubled your punishment. So there you go. You see what I mean about the gun? I have the Lupus a year now, but I don't play it very often, I have to say. And the gun takes some getting used to, because it is not very forgiving, and it requires you to really aim and to take your time with it. Otherwise, you are going to fluff shots, as I did there. Now I decided to move. I eventually get one onto this stored Emil, and eventually able to take him out. But I mean, I could have done that several shots ago if I had taken my time. I'd actually forgotten that this gun is not very forgiving. Is a bit derpy in that respect, so you do need to you do need to take your time aiming. Aiming is maiming. I'll say that again because it's extremely important to remember. And in this tank, it's extremely important. It is an unforgiving gun, so take your time on your shot. The good thing about it is the armor profile allows you to do that. So it allows you to, on the second or third date, just to take your time and use some foreplay and don't just rush in all guns blaming and just blazing and shoot your load everywhere. No, just take your time and make sure you aim. And as I said, the armor will allow you to do that because you can bounce a couple of shots, as I did there. You see the turret just took that one, and the IS is he's no slouch. The IS has quite a big gun on him, as they say, and I was able to bounce that there quite easily. Now I'm beginning to become familiar again with the tank and the gun, because as I said, I had not played it for some time. We kind of premature ejaculation there, wasted my load, just came in my underpants. Didn't realise little AMX lad was coming around, was going to take that kill for me. But I've often said again as well, I don't really believe in kill stealing or anything like that. The objective of the game is to remove enemy guns and tanks as quickly as possible. So if somebody else does that before you, so be it. I mean, I don't really believe in this kill stealing and reporting people for all this nonsense. That is just childish bullshit, to be honest. I guess maybe the same people have problems with that and have problems with the fancy tanks, the purists amongst them who somehow think because they drive around a pixelated tank that they're some sort of fucking modern age Irvin Rommel or Heinz Guderian or something. But anyway, so put another one here into the Tiger. See, nice alpha roll. Trying to back up here to put that slope in between us. Just gonna maneuver while I'm reloading, see if I can get another shot in here on the Tiger, which I can. Luckily he's facing up, I get another bounce, and again, the Tiger has a very good gun, so getting a bounce on that shows you just how good the armor is and how forgiving it will be. And now a last one into him, and I'm just going to reload again. I'm not going to expose myself, even though he has a smaller caliber gun. Now I can come around because it's just a one kill shot, and there we go, one shot kill rather, and there we go. And that's game over, and pretty decent game, I think. A couple of fluff shots at the start while I was re-establishing my acquaintance with the gun, and I would say the lessons to be learned are that the gun is good, gives you nice alpha rolls, etc. But it is quite unforgiving, so you do need to make sure that you aim it, take your time aiming. But the good thing about it is that the armor profile in the tank, particularly in the front and with the turret, gives you that space and time to take your time and to aim properly and make sure that your rounds count. Now onto our old friend, the Nameless, and let's see how we're gonna do with this guy, the Enominatum, as I said, which is a pretty cool name. I think they should have named it that, to be honest. I think that's far better than the Nameless, which just kind of does make sense as well, because as I said, if its name is Nameless, it isn't nameless, right? But yet it is nameless. Anyway, let's leave it there. I think that's enough. I decided to go and support the light tanks because I just felt that driving into the heavy guns of the others is not going to be good for us, and it's not going to help anybody. Also, I'm not top tier, so I didn't really fancy driving straight into those big guns on the other side. So if you don't fancy that, then you should go the other way. So which is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to help the mediums on this side. I have a 9.4 second reload, so it is okay, but it's not great, and for a tier 7 heavy it's actually a bit slow. It does have a nice alpha roll if you can make your shots count, and you'll see that the tank, the gun is pretty good, but as I said, it's not as good as your standard, let's say, tier 7 German heavy. It's not as good as the Tiger Porsche or the Tiger 1 itself, so you'll see that but the gun is okay. I mean, it is not as unforgiving as the gun in the Lupus, for example. You'll see here now, I don't get anything on that there, I just tried to snap one into him before he got his ass over the hill, got his ass into cover. But you can see if that was maybe in a Tiger or Tiger P, that probably would have gone in. But in this case it didn't. Because it has a smaller barrel, a shorter barrel, it doesn't have as good muzzle velocity as those tanks that I mentioned earlier. So just be aware of that. The tank will let you down. It is like leaving your kids with a junkie babysitter. It's 9 times out of 10 it will let you down. So there you go. By the way, I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, if you have children, I definitely wouldn't recommend leaving them with a junkie. I mean, obviously they work cheap and all that, but generally they tend to be quite unreliable, you know. So now you see the gun can give you some inspiration. That was a nice kind of snapshot I was able to get in there. And I think I get another one in. I think I get another couple in here on the tanks on the hills. You see, there you go. There's the pen. The gun has good pen. It went right through the turret there, just by picking a weak spot. So it is a decent gun. And as I said, the tank will. I'm gonna actually switch to HE and come around onto him, and yeah, got a decent enough roll on him. This guy, by the way, gets very upset with me. This T49. I don't think. I think in his rules of the game, obviously there's a difference to the rules for us. You're not allowed to kill him, so he was very upset. He starts getting a bit salty here now. So he obviously has 100% win rate up to this, because there he says I'm a bot. I don't really know why, but anyway. So I just gave him a laugh out loud there, just because he was annoying me. That's about as aggressive as I get. And now they're noob camper. I assume, are we the noob campers or his own team? I'm not really sure he was talking about, but anyway. As everybody is in different parts of the map than we started, I don't think anybody is a camper, but I think we all moved around fairly well. But I don't really know what he's talking about. But yeah, you get dudes like that, don't you? So it's just part of the game, isn't it? Unfortunately, frustrating and annoying part of the game. That's it. So I'm trying to draw out these three guys because I don't really know what's going on. So we're trying to cap and draw them out. I think, by the way, he has a problem with us capping too. Not sure. Trying to snapshot there now. Cap bots. There you go. Yeah, so he's obviously not a happy camper at all. Somebody definitely pissed in his cornflakes this morning. But anyway, that's that one. Then the Tiger gives me a nice arse out so I can put a Freddie Mercury round into him. Now we just have one tank left, I think, right? Oh, and he's coming up here. It's the IS. IS-3. Now you'll see here in the IS-3, my gun, I go to APCR because the gun is not great. I don't have such good gun repression either. So now I'm just going to try to bounce a shot. I'm going to try to side scrape here a bit, try to bounce a shot if he comes up onto me. See if I can sneak one into him, but I don't manage to do it. Then I decide to I think he's fired, so I'm just going to go down and just put one into his lower glacis. There we go. Back off now, and I think that he's going to put his round into the Tiger. He was just going front onto him, which kind of, and then I get the last kill. Yeah, so I mean, again, if you're not an experienced player, don't go side out onto a big gun like that IS-3, you're just going to get smashed. So you see, again, I haven't played Nameless for over a year. I've only played a handful of games in it, so it's just getting used to it again. But it is a pretty decent tank. The gun is pretty good, and I can also recommend it. If you are only going to buy one of them, I would recommend the Lupus. I just think it's somewhat different. It's very different to other tanks out there. So if you're going to spend some money, and you're thinking between the Lupus and the Nameless, I would get the Lupus. But it's up to you. If you can afford the bundle, all 4 tanks, it is, then why not? But as I said, it is quite expensive, and everybody has that much money. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Talk to you soon. Cheers now. Bye.